So, Thor, I'm going to tell you about this movie, Hard Target, because Hard Target was the original. It was the first. John Woo had this huge career in China where he made all these kung fu movies, and he was just huge over there. And he decides he's going to come to the United States and be a big Hollywood director. So he gets the muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme, to be in his first movie, Hard Target, in the United States, English language film. And it's about Jean-Claude Van Damme is a New Orleans cop by the name of...
Really?
Yes.
He's supposed to be from New Orleans?
Yes, a New Orleans cop by the name of Chance Boudreaux. And Chance Boudreaux...
Are you Chance Boudreaux?
Yes, exactly.
Splits.
The first scene of you see Chance Boudreaux is he's in a bar, and these three guys, a very hot chick, walks outside of the bar, and three guys follow her, and it's like
Rapey.
1 in the afternoon.
Rapey.
But no, it's like 1 in the afternoon, not even rapey. 1 in the afternoon, three gentlemen in daylight in the middle of a busy town decide they're going to punch a woman in the face and take her purse. And Chance Boudreaux, a.k.a. Jean-Claude Van Damme, walks outside and then proceeds to, because he was about kicking. Like
He was a kickboxer by training.
And so instead of like, if you go see a Steven Seagal movie, punch fighting.
Well, karate. He was like a classic, like gas station style karate trained.
If you see
Jean-Claude Van Damme was a kickboxer.
Yeah. If you see
not Nicolas Cage, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris was like a jiu-jitsu guy. Not jiu-jitsu.
Well, this is also the time. No, you're right. This is also the time when action heroes had to actually be real life badasses.
Yeah.
Like Jean-Claude Van Damme was a fucking kickboxer before he's an actor. But anyway, so all his fighting with these three guys, he has never once puts a hand on them, and he just kicks them to death in the middle of the street, just kicking three men. Okay, like just kicking them.
JC's mimicking kicking.
Like a kid.
It's a very cartoon, like it's like Kermit the Frog kicking, where you see like the back of Kermit's head, and then there's just like feet coming into the frame of the picture.
It's what it was like, essentially. It was like, it really was comical kicking. And so then he like basically kicks three dudes to death. Oh, all right. So like Mortal Kombat, he
like that Adam Sandler movie where he plays an Iranian guy.
Zola. What's wrong with the
Zohan?
Yeah,
that was a pretty good movie. But in there, he does that weird kicking crap. He's like he grabs people's noses with his feet.
Yeah,
and then he slaps them with both his feet.
Yeah. Well,
seriously?
Yeah, that's a very underrated movie. I love that one. That was good.
So Chance Boudreaux kicks these three dudes to death. And then the chick is like, hey, you're a badass. Can you help me find my dad? He's disappeared. Turns out her dad got killed by guys who they get rich people to pay them to hunt other people in New Orleans. So and by the way, you would think that they would like go to a field somewhere and release these people in the woods.
They do it downtown by the Superdome.
They just let them loose in the middle of New Orleans and then get a rich guy with a shotgun. And they're like, if you make it to the river, you get $10,000. If not, this rich guy shoots you with a shotgun.
You ever been to New Orleans?
I have not.
That's kind of how it is.
Well, I think I'm going this year for Mardi Gras, so I might find out.
You are going to get in trouble.
I probably
You are going to get in a lot of trouble.
So she hires Chance Boudreaux to find her dad. Her dad's dead. We know this already. So her dad got hunted, okay?
Oh.
By these rich people.
Okay, what did her dad do to get hunted?
He was just like,
are they kidnap victims or do they sign up for a prize?
No, they find combat veterans who are homeless, and they hunt them. They hunt homeless people but they have to be combat veterans because then they have a chance to survive because they want to make the hunt hard.
Yeah. Oh,
go ahead.
So it's kind of like a military show then.
It's an action movie, but it's about hunting homeless veterans. Actually, this movie is about hunting homeless veterans. Seriously, it's what the movie's about. So then, Chance Boudreaux goes to fucking get these guys, and he figures out who it is, like, immediately. And he's like, I'm going to get you guys. You guys are hunting homeless veterans. And they're like, we got one last hunt to do, is what they say. So they round up all the rich guys, whoever went on hunts with them, and they're like, whoever kills Chance Boudreaux is going to get $1 million. So now all the rich guys who love to kill homeless veterans in New Orleans, they're all hunting Jean-Claude Van Damme and this chick. So Jean-Claude Van Damme's like,
So does he do that really badass kick move where he rips the nose off with his toes?
Well, not yet. He hasn't ripped the nose off yet because he goes, we've got to go to the woods to see my uncle. And his uncle, no bullshit, is played by old Diabetes Wilford Brimley. But old Diabetes Wilford Brimley is...
That's the guy from the diabetes commercials, isn't it?
Yeah, diabetes.
You have diabetes, you call 254-782-9997, and we have insulin direct to your door.
He has so much diabetes, he has no feet. Okay, this guy has no feet. And I'm just kidding.
In the movie?
No. And like, he's Diabetes Wilford Brimley, but in this movie, he plays a coon ass. And if you don't know what that is in New Orleans, that's a guy.
Oh, no, I know what a coon ass is.
Yeah, as you know, Boudreaux and
Etouffee.
Yes, it's basically Wilford Brimley saying etouffee over and over again. Etouffee, 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 etouffee.
Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme, etouffee.
But it's very Swedish Chef because it's almost like they told him, like, I don't think they told...
Bisky, etouffee.
I don't feel like they taught Wilford Brimley any true Creole language. I feel like they said, Wilford Brimley, you're a Creole coon ass, just make some gibberish up and give it a...
Ishki bishki borski etouffee.
Yeah, it's what it's like. And then Jean-Claude Van Damme and Wilford Brimley give each other a big kiss, and then they talk to each other in gibberish, Swedish Chef Creole.
So you showed me a scene from that.
That's what I'm getting to.
Where Jean-Claude Van Damme fights a snake.
It's the greatest scene. So when he goes to see Wilford Brimley...
Not like encounters, like I'm using very specific language. He fights a snake.
It's so great. So when he's going into the woods to see Swedish Chef Wilford Brimley, okay, when he's going to the woods...
Bishki, Van Damme,
him and the
etouffee, roux.
Yeah, exactly. This is so what it was like. It was word salad, Cajun food mixed in with the Swedish Chef. Okay, that's what this was. But he's on his way to see Wilford Brimley. And they stop in the woods, and he has this romantic moment with the chick where it looks like they're going to kiss each other.
Like Romancing the Stone kind of thing?
Yes, very Romancing the Stone. Excellent reference. And he's all of a sudden you see Jean-Claude Van Damme's eyes, and he looks to the left, and he's like, oh, there's danger.
He's looking past her.
He is now looking past her because out of nowhere, and it's like in the middle of the air, like a floating snake has appeared. And a snake floats or flies, I don't know what happens, over her shoulder. And it's got its mouth open, but it's like slowly opening its mouth like a horror movie. And so Jean-Claude Van Damme grabs the snake very quickly by the neck.
And okay, I saw this clip, so I can interject here.
Yeah.
He doesn't grab it in a way that would stop the snake from biting it. Like if a snake had like a throat, he grabbed it on like the shoulder.
And it still has about 3 inches of wiggle room.
Like 6 inches.
It could easily have bitten the fuck out of his wrist if it wanted.
The snake could have turned around and bit him very easily, but it did not because it respected the art of combat.
He was not going to fuck with Chance Boudreaux. So then he grabs the snake by the throat or the shoulder area. He grabs the snake. And the snake, then he I can only say bops him on the head.
Yeah, boop. He boops him on the snoot.
It's very much like...
A boop to the snoot.
I always think of that song, the children's song, getting the field mice and bopping them on the head, because it's childlike. He's just like, bops him, and it's almost like Bad Snake, and then there's no reason for the bop, because it does nothing. So then the snake still has just been slapped in the face for no reason, and then he punches it in the fucking face.
No, then this is where it gets better. So Jean-Claude Van Damme knocks out a snake.
He knocks it out.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if snakes work the same way.
I don't think you can just punch one and knock it out.
Yeah, I don't know if they can get knocked out. I think they're either alive or dead.
He punches a fucking snake in the head.
Knocks out a snake. Then he bites off the rattle. For some reason, the snake had a rattle.
It was supposed to be a rattlesnake.
In New Orleans, because I don't think they have rattlesnakes in New Orleans.
It was one of those classic swamp flying rattlesnakes that can get bopped on the head.
Where did the snake come from?
The ether.
It really did come out of the ether. It really did. The snake came out of the ether.
He's holding the snake still by the shoulder, and then it's knocked out, so like its head goes to the side, and he bites off its rattler.
perfectly with no blood. He just bites just the rattle.
And then puts it in his pocket, I guess, for a second. Because, like, then there's a scene cut and they show up in a different place.
Well, and the chick's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm leaving a present for my friends, which are the hunters who are coming after him. So then...
Yeah. So then he puts the snake in his pocket, scene cut, they're somewhere else.
Yeah, now you see the hunters who are following him. And he has rigged the world's... This would never work in a million years booby trap. The world's most impossible booby trap.
There's a tripwire he rigged up.
Yeah, I don't even know how that works. He essentially tied a piece of thread to the snake and then put it on the ground so that when someone would touch it, it would wake the snake up.
Yeah, so there's a very quick scene. There's a tripwire. There's a tripwire, like you imagine, a tight piece of wire.
Connected to the snake.
And you see the hunters walking through the jungle, because I thought this took place in Africa or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, until you said New Orleans, I had no clue.
Yeah.
But so they're walking, and one of the guys sets off the tripwire.
Yeah.
And apparently, somehow that like shakes the snake awake, which is sleeping in a tree.
Yes, it wakes the snake up.
And the snake instantly like
the snake
dives.
that was punched in the face and knocked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then the snake instantly dives out of the tree and bites a guy in the face.
Right in the fucking face.
It is the most absurd booby trap ever.
It would never, ever, this would never work. You have a better chance.
It was essentially a bell or a tripwire tied to a bell that was sitting next to a snake who was slumbering. And the bell, this particular snake hated bells.
Yeah, and it wakes right up. The snake doesn't even go, where'd my rattler go?
Or like, oh fuck, I'm so injured. Or like, it's like, oh shit, this is my calling.
Yeah, to bite this guy in the face. And it bites him in the face, and then the guy falls down, and then Arnold Vosloo, who was the bad man, not in Darkman 1. He was the bad guy in Darkman 2 and 3. All right,
Liam Neeson?
Arnold Vosloo grabs the snake off the guy's face, and again holds it about 6 inches below its head.
So he's also grabbing the snake by the shoulder.
Grabbing the snake also by the shoulder. And then Lance Henriksen, the other bad guy, then looks at the snake very angrily, even though it's like
it's just a fucking snake.
Just a fucking snake. He looks at the snake like he knew Jean-Claude Van Damme set this whole thing up.
Maybe he knew the snake from a bar fight or something.
Well, something happened. Yes, he looks at the snake like they had a history. He really did.
It's you again, Steve, you asshole.
That's how he looked at the snake.
You owe me $20.
So then he...
Don't think I forgot.
He picks up the world's craziest, longest, revolver gun. And he points it... And
No. On that note, there are such things called Minnesota window cannons.
Okay.
And I met a guy at a bar one time, and he whipped out his Minnesota window cannon, which is a rifle with a pistol stock on the end of it.
Yeah.
So let's say that's what this was, because essentially
it's a rifle with a pistol grip.
That's what this was. He got it. Lance Henriksen in New Orleans with Chance Boudreaux for some reason has a Minnesota window cannon.
Yeah, because when you're driving down the road, you don't want to have to get your rifle out and hold it out the window to shoot the deer.
Okay.
Yeah,
you have your window cannon. So it's a rifle long pistol that you just swing out your window and shoot a deer
That makes sense. It's a poacher's weapon.
Not a deer. No, you can't shoot a deer.
A wolf.
That's poaching.
Or an Inuit, whatever.
Well, that would make sense.
We're not going to admit to poaching online. No.
That's because this guy, Lance Henriksen, is essentially a poacher of man. So this makes sense. So he pulls out his Minnesota window cannon and looks at the snake like they have a history, and then blows its fucking head off.
The other guy's still holding it by the shoulder.
Yeah. And I mean, he blows its fucking head off like it's a watermelon. And that's the end of the scene. You see the snake's head explode into the fucking scene.
This is a 10-minute setup bit.
For about a minute and a half of movie. It was like 90 seconds of movie that we just spent way too much time on.
No, that's what I'm saying. I thought it was about 10 minutes, but okay. This whole thing happens in 90 seconds then.
It's really fast.
It's the most outrageous scene in cinematic history.
I have never seen anything like it. It's the only movie that has stayed on my DVR, and every time someone new comes to my house, they watch this.
Yes. When I showed up this week to your house, it is almost the first thing you showed me.
It's the first thing everyone sees now. It's my greeting card. Hey, welcome to my house. Have you seen Hard Target? Because if you haven't, let me show you something. So now you got a homework assignment, Thora. You must watch Hard Target.